There's a look at one of the most iconic sports venues in the lower 48, built back in 1957 under the title of City Stadium. We are at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. This will be fielded at the 8. And not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go.
Now a handoff looking right. Only a couple there as he'll be brought down about the 28. Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout.
And that's caught inside the 35. And he will go out right near the 35-yard line. That one good for 37 yards. So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. They try and run on first down, but to no avail. Tackle for a 2-yard loss in the backfield. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 12. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll take this one down to the 36. After getting stuffed on first down, not much better there. 2-yard gain.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense, because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Here's Rodgers. It's caught here by Adams. And he's going to get this to the 31, but that is still well short of what he needed. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And the Packers are off to a 3-0 lead. They were probably hoping to get him a little bit closer for a shorter field goal, but he was able to get it done from deep.
Nice little tester for him to begin things, huh? I think he was hoping for a little bit more of a chip shot. Instead, they made him stretch it out a little bit, but he's got to feel great now that he put it through the pipes.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. A shotgun snap for Stafford. He gets this one to Johnson. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. They'll get 17 that time, and the Lions have a 1st down. One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Out of the gun, Stafford. Completing it here to Marvin Jones. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame, That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Throwing a snapper. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The safety, Adrian Amos, comes crashing in for the sack.
How about that? One of the so-called little guys putting the pressure on. That was the strong safety. When I was in college, we often called that a lightning blitz.
On fourth down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away.
Let's go. First and 10 at their own 12-yard line.
About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start first and 10. And to give this time to the tailback. And he'll take this one only up to about his 13-yard line. And Justin Coleman brings him down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run.
Keep it up, defense. Keep it up, guys.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And just not a ton of room to work with. He'll get it to the 15 for a gain of 2. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
He's got Adams on the hookup. And he'll take this across the 25 before going out of bounds. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. On first down, Rodgers. And that's complete to Adams. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And for a second straight play, the Lion defense drops him behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. And they're going to face a 3rd down.
I got you, boy. I got you, boy.
3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Back for the second quarter in Green Bay. It's the Packers in possession of the football. They're looking at a 3rd and 6 here to start things out. Working from the gun, Rodgers. Going up top, and that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Well, they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
On 4th down, J.K. Scott ready to punt it away. Back deep is Tavon Austin. Now Austin. 12 yards on the return that time, and the Lions will take over.
First and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. You don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
A first down carry here for Johnson. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
On 2nd down, it's Johnson. And he'll fight his way forward to about the 48-yard line. Now 3rd down is looming. A pickup of 2 on 1st down and just 1 yard there. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. From the gun, here's Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They could not contain Kenny Clark as he gets home for the sack. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You're talking about some terrific athletes who are trying to put him on the ground.
Rodgers will break the huddle and bring the pack up 1st and 10 at their own 15. To throw is Rodgers. Pass hauled in by the 6'4" tight end Sternberger. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And that'll make it 3rd down. Throwing is Rodgers. And incomplete. A disappointing drop there defensively by the rookie. And now 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Here's Austin. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. They've had it twice. They punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all. And let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice. So they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Stafford going to give this one off to Johnson. And some room to maneuver. That's back-to-back plays of over 20 yards.
How about that, partner? That's a gutsy run, a physical run, an explosive run. And he's inside the 10-yard line now. I don't know if you hand it to him again on this play, but make the defense think that you will, and maybe you have some options.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Dez Bryant, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Lions have taken the lead.
A lot of people might call this backyard football. Sometimes just understanding who you've got out wide and who you're going to throw it to. Give him an opportunity to go up and make a play, even when contested. Looks like that one worked out pretty well. The trust factor in effect.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. Coming up at halftime, we remind you once again that we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL as we reach now, hard to believe, the halfway point of the season. Time flying.
It certainly is. Time to get the sweaters out, my man.
Well, a deep ball there on second down, but it'll wind up incomplete. Devontae Adams, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and short. They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. Caught on the right side by Adams. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. A 5-yard loss there is going to bring up 4th down. Here's J.K. Scott now. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. This is taken at the 23. Detroit, a 77-yard punt return. And the Lions strike quickly here for 6 points.
When you've got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach, but it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they hit the ball and kick it right to him.
This time, the extra point up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try to fashion together a drive.
He's going to go for it. This is caught inside the 15. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Rodgers going to throw. And this is going to be intercepted. Then it's Clinton Dix with a pick. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week, 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away. And that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals. And if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up 2nd and 10. Not wanting to take a chance this time, they'll keep it on the ground. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. From the gun on 3rd down, Stafford. And that is incomplete. So 17 seconds now on the clock here. Problems on 3rd down so far in this first half. Relatively small sample size, but they're now 0 for 3.
And the average in the league, somewhere around 40% on 3rd down for offenses. So what's the answer to this? Either convert them or don't get the 3rd down in the first place. Get your big chunks of yards on 1st and 2nd down.
A great return there, bobbing and weaving his way for 31 yards. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. Try to get one more in here before the quarter breaks.
Crunch time, defense.
A final shot before half for Rodgers. He sets to fire deep. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. So we reach halftime here in a 10-point game. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, the Lions in the lead, and they're going to get the football first as well as the second half is underway. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. It's a gain of 35. So the big play moves them all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. Now Johnson. And he only manages a couple here down to about the 38-yard line.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Now Stafford. Open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hockenson. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down. In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Running from the gun, Johnson. And he will be very close to a 1st down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. It's a 5-yard pickup, but spotted a few chain links short of the first, so a little bit of decision time here coming up on 4th down. And with the play clock winding down, we're going to get a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. From here, this would have been a 48-yarder, but no, they're going to go for it. They run. It's Johnson. And he's able to pick up the first before he's taken down at the 27. Just a gain of 3, but they'll certainly take it as they convert on 4th down. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. Operating from the gun, Stafford. Trying here for Bryant, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Darnell Savage. And the return goes up to his own 17-yard line. Trying to stick with Dez there, got too physical. Pass interference.
I like your note there. So physical. Hard for any defender to cover Dez Bryant without drawing a pass interference call.
180. He's checking. Middle. 61, match box, right.
From the gun, Stafford. Escaping the pressure right. And this is incomplete. Kerryon Johnson, the intended receiver, but it'll be 2nd and goal.
Appeared to me he was just trying to find an open receiver and got forced out to his right. Had to come off of a guy downfield, trying to hit his back. Unable to connect. Should have been an easier throw moving to his right, though.
Yeah, much easier, obviously, for a right-handed quarterback. If he was going to his left, a little bit tougher.
Exactly.
Now a 10th carry for Johnson. And they go the wrong way on this one. Losing yardage back at the 12.
When you create lost yardage plays, the only way that happens is either called pressure or what I like to call straight-ahead pursuit. A great read, and they get to the backfield and make the play.
And that was a big chunk of yardage lost. Now Stafford on 3rd and goal. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you'd better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
So put another 3 on the board. All things considered, a good opening drive to begin the 3rd quarter.
And as a defense, the way that this game is going, you're excited to see those points go on the board. Gives them a little bit of leeway to play with when they're out on the field, but they're real excited to see their offense score. Now they get to go out there and do their part.
Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at the 45. And they get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. Great way to start the drive. 20 big ones and a first down. Rodgers now hitting on 2/3 of his passes. 10 for 15 so far. 1st and 10. Throwing now is Rodgers. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. On play action. Now Rodgers. In trouble, and he'll go down back at the 12. Robert Quinn able to collapse the pocket, get to him, and drop him for a loss of a yard. After the sack here, 2nd and 11. To throw, it's Rodgers. That is caught at the 7-yard line. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down. That's what we're used to seeing from him right there. Plays like that, why he's number 4 in the league in terms of receiving yardage.
Able to make adjustments all along the way. Doesn't matter where he lines up, where he releases from. Working his way into the secondary, figures out defenses and finds weak spots in order to get open.
Still just the 3rd quarter, but they've got to make something happen. I think they know that. They're going for it on 4th. Here's Rodgers to throw. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball, and I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. And not a lot of daylight, not really any daylight inside as he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
The rush defense stout on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. This thrown quickly out to Jones. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That one good for 26 and a first down.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
Now a run on 1st down is not going to get off the ground as they will get him behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3.
That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Now on 2nd and 13. Stafford, and his throw is incomplete. The intended target, T.J. Hawkinson, and it's 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. operating from the gun. Stafford. And that would not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time is now run out on this third quarter of play. Back now at Lambeau as we are just about set to go here in quarter number 4. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline.
The Packers take over first down 10.
Let's go.
At their own 11-yard line.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get them down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
They'll roll him out right. And that'll be incomplete. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
Not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. They could get it done, but guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the 4th. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Now Rodgers looking deep. It got his man complete. But he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Packers. Up and good by Crosby. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So here comes the kickoff, and what now is just a one-score, 6-point game. This one fielded at the 5. And a pretty slick return there as he's up just shy of the 45-yard line.
And that's the kind of return you're looking for. To get to that spot on the field, that allows you to do a lot of things on offense.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. Now this one to his running back out of the backfield. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 6 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it a 2nd down. From the gun, a run for Johnson. He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And finally taken down at the 34. That one good for a first down pickup of 18 yards.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know. Well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Here's Stafford. He finds his man Johnson. The end result, 21 yards.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I think get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
From the red zone now, Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Preston Smith comes in for the sack. And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. If you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive.
Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Dean Lowry, he's the one that drops him this go-around, and that pass rush getting strong here. Back-to-back sacks. After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. Back to throw, Stafford. Catch is made by Hockenson, the tight end. And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. A crazy sequence here. A huge gain that time, but it still leaves them well short for 4th down. And the 13-year man puts it through, and that will make this a 9-point lead. So his 2nd field goal of the game, and that could turn out to be the big one.
Yeah, you have to make them score twice to beat you, and that's not impossible. But here in the 4th quarter, puts their backs clearly against the wall.
Let's go.
About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line. And they're hoping to redo their efforts of the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see.
And that is intercepted on the sideline. Wait, no. They'll say no. It was caught out of bounds. So this is just an incompletion here. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Here's Rodgers. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
The Packers go for it. Rodgers. He's going to look deep down the field. And that is incomplete. The Packers unable to pick up the first. And now possession will go over inside the 15-yard line. They'll run on 1st down. Johnson. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column. On 2nd and 12, Stafford to the end zone, but it's incomplete. They were looking for Johnson that time, but now it'll be 3rd down. They got the win last week despite not having any interceptions. Tried to come up with one there, could not. But there's a stat category called PBU, pass breakup. That's important too, and they got one.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, because at least you're there, knocking the ball away. Offense isn't possessing it, making plays downfield. And you just continue to harass the receivers, harass the quarterback, and maybe the big play does occur down the road.
The Lions now going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the 1st down. They'll run it with Johnson. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down.
This is where coaches have to have spent a lot of time going over situations with their players, because him getting tackled there is not the worst thing in the world. You're going to run more plays, right? Clock's going to go. But his thought process is getting into the end zone. It's counterintuitive for him to actually go down in this spot.
Yeah, but like you say, you don't want to get in the end zone too early here.
No, not at all, because you may leave an opening that could come back and get you.
To Johnson again. And this Green Bay defense making that play look a lot like the previous one. Both tackles behind the line of scrimmage. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Now it's Stafford. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. Prater's kick is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So they settle for just the 3, but clearly right now anything helps trying to salt this one away in the fourth.
Without a doubt, obviously a touchdown probably would have been the final nail to finish this thing off, but they still ate up time, got points. So while it's not mission accomplished, it's darn close.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And on that last drive, Whitford on fourth turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be. It's caught inside the 25. And he will get this into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Davante Adams with touchdown number 7 on the year. He'll look to throw as his guys are back within a single score. And the formula there on the 2-point try, they go 5 wide. Not even the option to hand the ball off. They got it.
They tried to create space, and there isn't a whole lot of it there. For the defense, what you're trying to do is make sure that someone, if they're going to catch the ball, make them catch it behind you because they run out of space with the back line. But in this case, the offense figured it out.
And the Lions are able to cover this one up. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Here's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. "27 yards there, a first down."
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Check, lady. Check, Mike 54. Mike 54. Pick me up. Here we go. Undercut. Real right. 20
On first down, Johnson. And another tackle broken. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. Wow, a personal foul at this stage in the fourth. Hard to believe.
Really hard to believe, and now that glow of hope that you had begins to flicker out, doesn't it?
Yep. So now then the penalty's got him set up with a 1st and goal. So they get pushed back to the 11, and here's 2nd and goal. Stafford down to a knee, and with it, he's going to ensure his guys a victory. So this one's over. It's a win for the Detroit Lions. And I tell you, these division games never for the faint of heart, but they come through with a tight victory here on the road.
And you find yourself working harder in a game like this too, don't you?
Yeah,
because you got to stay with it, right? You got to stay with it. You got to stay locked in. It's our type of a game. And you just mentioned it. Division game on the road, tight, and they find a way to win it. Way to hunker down, as my old coach used to say, and find your way through.
So for Detroit, they'll finish the first half of the schedule dead even at 4-4. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to the Windy City to take on the Bears. Meanwhile, for the Packers, the loss will drop them to 6-2 now on the year. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next game, guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.